Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, this right here, these things right here, man, get a lot of our attention these days. Being early 2000s, baby, and the way we had to grow up, we had an era without phones, and then we had an era that ran into phones. I can remember before phones, oh yeah, I used to read 1 or 2 books before I go to sleep. Some Junie B. Jones, you know what I'm saying? Some like Captain Underpants. I could read a book before I went to sleep. And then we ended up having phones and stuff. Oh, it's YouTube, I'm playing games, I'm listening to music.
You ever notice how people these days just can't seem to take their eyes off their phone?
It feels like everywhere you go nowadays, everybody is glued to the phone, whether it be driving, at work, operating heavy machinery. It seems like they can just not focus on the task at hand.
And in this video, they're going to try to explain why.
We are amusing ourselves to death. Video, TV, movies, music, podcasts. And on top of that, constant notifications. They're all flooding in. We are always being stimulated, and as a result, it is killing our ability to focus. And this isn't just something that we've noticed about ourselves. Research backs this up. Attention spans are declining. It's easy to blame the internet for this problem, but it's actually much older than that, though the internet's made it worse. And if we want to do something about it, we need to be able to break down the problem and really talk about where it comes from. So that's what we're going to do today.
Before you get into the nitty gritty, I want you to pull your phone out and go and see how much screen time you have right now.
This finna get nasty. This finna get nasty, dude.
For context, for anybody watching, it is currently 4:25 Central Time.
Oh, they're just for this week. We doing the apps, or you need just the total screen time?
Total screen time, just for the day, just for today.
4 hours and 47 minutes.
Not gonna lie, mine's worse. Mine's about a cool 10.
Dude, you just on your phone. See, that's what. See, I'm only 4 hours. I'll be busy at work. I be locked in. Like I will have music in my ear, but like as far as being on my phone all day, no go.
I ain't gonna lie, 6 of my hours is just YouTube alone. I ain't gonna lie, I'm the type of guy that puts on like a very long YouTube video to fall asleep to. So like I ain't gonna lie, that's where most of my screen time's coming from.
It's crazy word. I don't think I ever fell asleep to a YouTube video.
No, you just put on like that long YouTube video where you can just be talking about any like random thing you're sort of interested in but not fully interested in. That way you can doze off instead of like accidentally locking into the video. Man, them be the ones. That'd be my substitute for like white noise sometimes.
What is white noise?
I don't know how to explain it. It's like this static noise that helps people go to sleep.
It ain't help me go to sleep. I just go to sleep. I don't know that's y'all. I would say I got how many 5 hours of TikTok?
I don't even open TikTok.
Yeah, you're crazy. TikTok is peak, bro.
I go on TikTok just to post for the channel, and then I get off of it. I ain't gonna lie.
I think TikTok did ruin my attention span now. I ain't gonna lie. It just be itching. Wake up itching to scroll.
Yeah, it's similar for me on YouTube Shorts. Not gonna lie.
So I'm breaking this problem down into 3 parts, and it all begins with a shift from books to television. So in the 1980s, Neil Postman wrote the book Amusing Ourselves to Death. And he was primarily interested in the cultural effects of a shift from using the written word as our primary way to transfer information to a shift towards mass media, and in particular, television. The invention of the printing press changed the world. Suddenly, mass communication was possible on a scale that had previously always been impossible. And this is how new and radical ideas were able to so quickly spread. So the Protestant Reformation probably wouldn't have happened without the printing press, or the Enlightenment, or the American Revolution. But media theorists like Postman, and here we should also mention the work of Marshall McLuhan, also tell us that how we communicate ideas, the media that we use, actually changes the way that we think. McLuhan's favorite phrase here was the medium is the message. So Postman uses early American culture as an example of what he calls the typographic mind. This is a mind that has been shaped primarily through consuming books. And that means that it's a mind that's used to prolong sessions of engaged, serious, rational activity. In other words, it's a mind that's used to focusing. So that's the first takeaway. Reading as an activity actually helps build your focus, and it shifts the way that you think. But we've stopped reading.
Well, I already know from that. What's the last time you read a book?
Middle school.
Damn. I mean, that long?
I'm not reading no book, bro. Now my old lady, she got a bookshelf full. She loves books, but I'm not a book person.
I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of the media we watch nowadays is just based on books, to be honest with you. Like a lot of my favorite shows have like book adaptations, and if they don't, then there's usually some version of it I can read somewhere. Let me ask you this, do you consider like comic books a form of like reading books, like manga, stuff like that?
Yeah, anything you have to read to understand, yeah, I think that's a book.
The last book I read was, not gonna lie, I started One Piece. I literally started One Piece. This is volume 1. And then I told my friend that if I liked One Piece enough, I'll read more of it. So I ordered more of it. This is volumes 1, 2, and 3. I'm about right here. I tabbed it. Where is it? I'm about right here. This is where I saved my last spot. This is chapter 22. So I'm about a good chunk into this book, but I read this every once in a while. I ain't gonna lie. I'm one of those people. I cannot do anime, bro. The filler episodes kill me, bro. They kill me every time, bro. I can't do it, bro.
Dragon Ball Z the worst at that. Not gonna lie.
He do it, bro.
20 episodes of build up for a 1 episode fight.
Yeah, that junk is the worst, bro.
In Postman's time, more people were watching television than reading, and those numbers have only gotten worse. When you add screens and the internet and phones and all of that, which we'll talk about later, well, that just exacerbates the problem. Two famous examples from American political history actually illustrate this really well. The first one is the 1858 Lincoln-Douglas debates. These are famous pieces of American political rhetoric. You should read them if you're at all interested. Some sources say that up to 18,000 people attended these debates, and they were later printed. That's how you can read them. And it's actually how Lincoln became famous in the first place. So each debate was 3 hours long, and it would actually begin with a 60-minute opening statement from one of the candidates. And then there was a highly structured format with prolonged responses. This meant that the audience had to be able to stay focused for 3 hours and also needed to be able to follow a single complex thought for up to an hour or sometimes 90 minutes at a time. And Postman says that they were able to do this because this audience, which would have mostly been literate people, would be used to following long trains of thought because they had been reading books.
You sitting through that for 3 long hours?
You want me to tell the truth or you want me to lie to you?
Tell the truth.
No. And how cooked are we for that, right? Literally, one single thought, train of thought for 3 hours. And I know everybody around me, most people I know would not sit there and just listen to it, bro. We are cooked. We are cooked. Hey.
Wait, let me ask you a question. You get courtside Steph Curry tickets. You touch your phone the whole time you're there?
No. I ain't gonna lie, I'm locked. I'm locked into the entire day.
Because if Bron get out there, if I catch a Bron game, I'm not touching my phone. I'm in the moment.
I guess that's fair.
We're not as good as you think, but we only invest in what we want to invest in. We don't really like when it's something that, hey, you need to watch this. Cool, 5-10 minutes, and then I'm gonna get on TikTok, start scrolling, and slip my AirPod in. This is how it is.
Yeah, but I also think people back then were more tolerable of like new ideas and new concepts, though. I think like there are more that, okay, let me go look at this. Like for us, it would be okay, I can give you like 30 seconds of my attention before I start the one. For them, it might have been an hour. Like, shoot, we might not be as good as we think, but like it's always relative to what was before, you know?
Yeah.
How they speak is actually being influenced by the kinds of sentences that they would have read. But if you skip forward to 1960 and the Kennedy-Nixon debates, you see something really different because these were the first political debates that were on television. So instead of an hour for an opening statement, the entire debate was only an hour, and the opening statement that each candidate got was only 8 minutes. This meant that the audience watching at home didn't have to worry about following one thought for up to an hour or 90 minutes. Instead, they just got it into small, condensed chunks of information that they could more easily consume. And that mirrors their general media consumption that they would get from watching television all the time. The whole debate was only an hour. Literally, it was one slot of primetime television. And you know what the big takeaway of that debate was that Nixon looked bad on TV. That's why people say that he lost. Kennedy looked better on TV. Nixon's mom called him to ask him if he were sick. Generally, he just didn't perform well in front of the camera, and he lost the election. Political history, or probably world history, was made because of television. So already the media that we were consuming was changing the way that we were going to engage in politics. That's a big consequential change if you think about how much power an American president has. Television was making us used to consuming smaller, sort of bite-sized pieces of information. And it also made us more concerned with things like the appearance of a presidential candidate rather than what he was saying.
You're not gonna lie, that's a good point. That's a great fucking point. Like reading back in the day left everything to the imagination when it comes to visual concepts. Like the way something would be described in the book, like that can only take you so far, and then your brain took care of most of the work. Like me and you both read the same book that had like no movie adaptation, right? But we both had the same book we read, right? And we were both told, hey, let's draw this character based on how the book describes them. I guarantee you, me and you will have something similar in concept because there's factual descriptions. But at the end of the day, I think both of us will have two drastically different takes on the same character, which is why books are so amazing. They're very flexible. But what he is saying is essentially that because of television, because of visual media, that level of imagination disappears. Like it's gone. Like there's nothing to misinterpret. So that kind of plays a huge factor in the way people see things nowadays. Like here's a great example. If we were both reading a book and the passage said, as a man was walking in the woods, he was attacked by a bear. What color would you think the bear was?
Brown.
Yeah, and some people would think black bear. So it's like that. You see what I'm saying? Like that level of interpretation is there. But if we were watching a movie and a brown bear had jumped out, that's gone. Like, and I feel like that also takes away from a person's like span, because it takes away that need to interpret, that need to think when it's right there in front of you. That process is gone. So like that also cuts a bunch of that time away. Like this is a very very interesting concept.
And I imagine that if they had tried to have a 3-hour debate on primetime television, ratings would have slowly declined. People weren't used to focusing for 3 hours at a time anymore. The media that we were consuming was changing our ability to think, and it was causing our ability to focus to atrophy. Focus is a skill that you have to develop. And if we're watching television all the time, well, we aren't training ourselves to be deep and reflective thinkers, especially not in the way that we would if we were reading good books. So then when it comes time to focus on something, like trying to read a really good book, well, you can't do it. You never learned how. People will often tell me that reading books nowadays is inefficient and that there are just better ways to get information. And I'm going to use some slang here that I think I'm too old to use sincerely, but this is pure cope. Getting your information from summaries or even from YouTube videos like the ones that I make is a completely different experience than learning from a book, because in a book, you actually get to follow an author's chain of thought. So as you read an author's thoughts in a book, you are actually thinking with him. You're actually training yourself to think. And as you train yourself to think, you're training yourself to focus. You get like a mental workout when you read, and you're not getting that elsewhere. So you're probably screaming at your screen right now because TV certainly isn't the most important form of media that we encounter nowadays. A cable news show gets fewer nighttime viewers than a really good YouTube video these days. And maybe the fact that we can't focus is due to the internet and the constant amount of notifications and this like swarm of content that we're constantly in. Or in other words, you might think that it's this that's to blame. And I think that's right. Just like we shifted from books to television, we've now moved from television to the internet.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. This right here, these things right here, man, get a lot of our attention these days.
That's facts, though. Because, like, being early 2000s, baby, and the way we had to grow up, we had an era without phones, and then we had an era that ran into phones. Because I can remember before phones, I used to read 1 or 2 books before I go to sleep. Some Junie B. Jones, you know what I'm saying? Some slight Captain Underpants. I could read a book before I went to sleep. And then we end up having phones and stuff. Oh, it's YouTube. I'm playing games. I'm listening to music. I'm doing every other thing but reading a book before I go to sleep.
Yeah, and it's another factor that, like, when it comes to attention, now if you have the internet, now you have access to so many resources, access to so many avenues. Now everything is constantly fighting for your attention, and that also plays a big factor. Like, you could be scrolling on Instagram, you get a Facebook noti. Now Facebook wants your attention. You go on Facebook, then you get a TikTok noti. Now you switch to TikTok. Your favorite YouTuber just uploaded. Now you're on YouTube. You just saw you scrolling while watching his video. You see another video you also like. It's like everything is fighting for your attention. Even though we are fighting for your attention right now as we upload these videos, we're hoping somebody picks this up. We're hoping somebody watches this video. We hope somebody takes something from it. Like, it's just a situation of just like, this is how our world has shaped us. And like, I don't think there is going to get better anytime soon, as long as technology exists, as long as it keeps improving. Like, everything around me, like my computer, my setup, my phone, even my watch, all of it is like a device made to just like grab your attention and then do it as swiftly and effectively and efficiently as possible. And when it comes to that, yeah, I can see why it takes people's attention spans the way it does.
Postman couldn't write about the internet because he was writing about it in the 80s, but another writer has come along to try to pick up some of these thoughts, and that's Nicholas Carr, who wrote the book The Shallows. So if you had to describe one word to sort of sum up your experience of the internet, I have a feeling it would be something like chaos. The whole point of a page on the web is actually just to keep you looking at it. So if you look at, like, say, your YouTube home screen, you're going to see rows and rows of videos. Then you're going to see possibly notifications if you have any of those turned on. You're going to see a search bar that tells you that you could go find anything that you wanted. If you search for a video, well, then very quickly you're going to be given recommendations. Click on one video and you're immediately recommended like 12 more. The whole point of that design is that if you ever get bored for even a second, you can click on something else so that you can stay engaged. We're so used to it that it feels normal, but it is a chaotic experience.
I ain't gonna lie to you, it feels crazy, but do you ever feel like you're bored of watching YouTube videos?
All the time.
Or like it's getting way harder to find it. Like, you get your food, you know what I'm saying? You lit, food hot, you sat down, you turn on YouTube, and it's like, I can't find a good YouTube video no more.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the algorithm not understanding like what I'm looking for anymore, or like I don't know what's going on. But like, you're absolutely right. Like, it used to not be as hard for me to just open YouTube and bam, something right there is what I want. Okay, good. I got a plate in front of me. Let's eat while I watch it. Like, it's I have to go find something nowadays, where like a few years ago, I didn't have to look. I didn't have to use the search bar nearly as much as I do now. And whether or not that's a good thing, I don't know, because like, I can't tell if it's because the world wants to slowly revert back into like that era before, or it's just because that YouTube's like algorithm is getting worse. I don't know.
I wouldn't say the algorithm. I feel like just the attention span of like YouTube isn't really one of those places you can go and like discover somebody you like anymore. It's really like top of the chain, and you just go from there. Because like, you could try to watch a smaller YouTuber, but if his video is like a tad too long, and you see like another YouTuber that has like a 15, 14-minute video, you're gonna go press that one before you press the long one, because the attention span is shot.
Right.
Because I know I have plenty of times where I've been watching like a Corey extension video and it's too long, and Trey Soul post, I'm gonna go watch Trey Soul because his videos only be like 14, 15 minutes. I'm not gonna sit here all the way through a whole video.
And I think we're just victims of that, what he's been saying. Like, the media has becoming smaller and smaller as the world progressed. It went from long thought out books to just hour television slots, 30-minute television slots. Now episodes are only 12 minutes, which are now 15-minute television slots, with YouTube videos now being 15 minutes. And YouTubers are trying to avoid going over the 10-minute mark, the 8-minute mark nowadays, which is crazy. Where like the YouTube videos are even taking the effort out. You don't even have to turn your phone sideways anymore. You can just go right here. And then after 15 seconds, you've already thinking you already had a decent amount of content. Boom, on to the next one. Boom, on to the next one. Boom, 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 boom. And I guarantee everybody who watches Instagram Reels, who watch Facebook Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikToks, half of those people, unless it's TikTok, because TikTok is dedicated for it, I guarantee you are not either followed or subscribed to most of the people you watch on Instagram, Facebook Reels, or YouTube Shorts. It's because they're only there to entertain you for those seconds and they're gone. If they pop up again, they just pop up again. You know what I'm saying?
We're so used to it that it feels normal, but it is a chaotic experience. And I think YouTube is not even the worst offender by far. I mean, look at TikTok. I don't really use TikTok, but when I've opened the app like twice, I feel like I got a headache almost immediately. And I know I sound old in this video. The idea here is to always give you something to click on next. Always. So even if you are watching a 10-minute video and you think it's a really good 10-minute video and you want to finish it until the end, well, if you're bored for even a second, you have something that could be potentially more exciting. You could click on it and you could see, because these platforms actually don't really care if you keep watching one particular video or if you keep reading one particular article. They just want you to stay on the platform. TikTok wants you on TikTok, YouTube wants you on YouTube, the New York Times wants you to stay on the New York Times site. That's how the internet works. This medium teaches you that information is easy and disposable. If you're even a little bit bored, you can move on. In fact, you should move on. That's implicitly what these platforms are telling you. In Carr's book, he really likes to stress the plasticity of our brains. That's our ability to change actually how our brains are structured in response to our environments. Our brains actually change based on what we do, what we need to do, and what kind of tools we use. So look at this chart for the average screen time for Americans. And now ask yourself, what do you think that is doing to our brains? Well, one of the things is it's ruining our ability to focus. The bad news is that your brain is plastic. So the fact that you use your phone all the time or that you watch too many YouTube videos means that you are slowly ruining your ability to focus.
I ain't gonna lie, he's absolutely right. I ain't gonna lie, I've watched my sense of focus like slowly deteriorate, bro. And it's not good, bro. It's not good at all. Whether it be because I'm watching YouTube videos where I should be studying, playing my video games when I should be editing, like just stuff like that. It's just like, I think it's a byproduct of this stuff. Like the calm focus and drive is like not there anymore. And I think it's been gone for a lot of people for a very long time, which is why a lot of people don't understand, like when these successful people go out and do these things like, oh, I can go do what Castanet's doing. Oh, I can do what Speed's doing. But they don't understand, like, these people don't have those restrictions. They don't have those like mental blocks stopping them from truly getting at it. Like, I guarantee you, there's a whole bunch of people, maybe people even watching this video, who's like, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. I'm gonna upload every day. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that, blah, 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 blah. And then they get into the trenches and then they realize this takes a lot of focus. And if you don't have that sense of focus, if you don't have that will to do that, then you're just going to fizzle out. You're going to miss days. You're gonna skip out. You're gonna decide to do anything else because you feel like it's more exciting in the moment. It's no different than like click me off of a YouTube video. This is why certain people don't last in the gym long. This is why certain people don't stick to finishing books. Like it's a big issue. It really is. It really is.
I mean, I feel the same. I'm not gonna lie, because like my attention span has went from I could watch my favorite movies that are like 2.5, 3 hours long to I can get 30 minutes into a movie. I either fall asleep or I'm scrolling on TikTok. That's just where I'm at now. Just this short form content grabs my attention more than a 30-minute YouTube video that's actually good. But I would rather sit there and watch TikTok. And then, like, I don't know how the mind works, or it's just like this aspect of surprise when you're on TikTok, because you never know what the next scroll is going to bring to you. Like, you just feel like every scroll is going to get better and better. And it's just like, you know that scene on that Percy Jackson scene when they was in a casino and they were just stuck there?
Yeah.
That's how I feel like social media does you. It dumbs down your attention span and wants you to stay there forever.
The good news, though, is that your brain is plastic. So you could fix this. If you made an effort to read more books, watch less YouTube, throw your phone into like the fires of Mount Doom so it could never bother you again, well, that would actually give you a way to save your ability to focus. This really is a solvable problem. But you have to remember that there is a war going on for your attention, and it is not a fair fight. There are large corporations with PhDs in psychology and the best design engineers that they can find, all working to keep you engaged. And that's why I like to say that the internet is a hostile design environment. So here's a quote from the first president of Facebook, Sean Parker. The thought process that went into building these applications, Facebook being the first of them, was all about how do we consume as much of your time and conscious attention as possible. And that means we need to sort of give a little dopamine hit every once in a while because someone liked or commented on a photo or a post or whatever. And that's just one very telling admission from someone who would know. If you listen to other people talk about designing digital experiences, though, it really is basically the same. It's all about capturing and really holding on to your attention. By comparison, something like this, a book, it's not that good at holding your attention unless you're really used to giving your attention to it. I think that's a nice way of putting it. Books, you have to give your attention to books. But phones, screens, the internet, videos, they steal your attention. That's why I say that it's a hostile design environment. It is a environment that has been designed in order to steal your attention and thus rob you of your ability to focus as much as possible because people make money from it. I mean, look, I have to even say this. If I can keep you watching until the end of this video, I make more money.
Shoot, and we do too. Yeah, to you, bro. Like, one day, this video is gonna make us a decent amount of money, bro. And if it doesn't, I swear to you, me and him, we're gonna be sitting in the Discord. We're gonna be, yo. What did we do wrong? Can our thumbnails be better? Can our intros be better? Can our hooks be better? Should we talk more in the video? It's because like that stuff is like it's now incentivized nowadays. It's now prioritized nowadays. When you are on the other side of the screen, when you're the person being watched, you're the person that has to perform. Like these things go to your mind. Like you think it's like some people might think like corporations and stuff are evil for implementing this stuff. Like, but it's like everybody does it, even on the smallest level. Like the guy making a TikTok on his phone for fun has to implement the same rules that we are for this YouTube video. How do I get this person to click on this? How do I get this person to watch it? How do I give them that little bit of dopamine so they'll like it and come back? Like that is the principle that we all use. And whether it's evil, whether it's malicious or whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter. That's just how we work. And I don't think there's necessarily a problem with it when moderation, but I just think it's up to the person whether or not they let this really just run their lives.
Yeah, I was just gonna harp on that. But TikTok is cool, YouTube is cool, YouTube Shorts is cool, Facebook is cool, Instagram is cool, but only thing is like when those trends get going around and they can either like harm somebody or it's something that just shouldn't be done, everybody like gravitates towards it because they think it's funny or it's entertaining. That's when I think it gets to a certain point where your attention span has gotten so bad you'd rather see somebody doing something that could hurt themselves or hurt somebody else or make fun of somebody because that entertains you, because you're getting tired of seeing the happy dog and cat videos, the heartwarming videos. Like your attention span is shot. It gets worse.
I ain't gonna lie, it was getting bad on YouTube too. But like I ain't gonna lie, Mr. Beast, that guy elevated it, bro. That whole I'm gonna give you 15 in the first 10 seconds. I'm giving you this crazy dopamine hit. Everything is fast cut. Everything is fast paced. There's no breaks in between my videos. There's no time to breathe. Action. He might have not been the first person to implement it, but oh my goodness, was he the spearhead of it? And now there's a whole bunch of YouTubers left and right who go by the exact same style. Like people like Jester, Mr. Beast himself, obviously. Even Castanet did it. If you watch old Castanet clips, like there would be points where he is walking and just talking to the camera, and there's like no spaces in between any sentence he's saying. Like for example, I'll be talking like this: "Yo, my name is Castanet. Yo, we about to go into the grocery store, and we about to get some ice cream. You know how you feeling? Yeah. Like when I just said it, I put big spaces, but in the edit, I guarantee you there's no spaces in between none of that. Like that stuff is it takes a toll on people.
And the people who design these platforms, they're not thinking about what this does to you long term. Steve Jobs told the New York Times that he wouldn't let his kids use an iPad. And Mark Zuckerberg and his wife don't let their kids use Facebook. I don't even know if they let their kids have phones. Basically, these are people who would really know the effects of these technologies. They help to design and build them and popularize them. And they know what it does to people. And they wanted to protect their kids from that. So I would ask, why don't you want to protect yourself from that? Now, there are things you can do to build your focus, but they're all easier said than done. First, you have to turn off your phone. You have to learn to take long breaks from it. If you can take day-long breaks from it, if you can go an entire day without looking at your phone, then you're already well on your way. But you have to get used to it. Having something in your pocket that can always grab your attention with a single sound or a buzz, or even if you have it on silent, the ability, the sort of promise that if you just turned it on, maybe you would find something fun, that is going to rob you of your ability to focus.
You think you can turn your phone off, put it on a show for 24 hours?
Easy. I done it multiple times. Like my old lady has been mad at me because like I literally don't be carrying with my phone at. I know I need a phone to contact people in case of emergency, something like that. But like in the day, I really don't need my phone.
And for me, I can't do it. Like I don't think I'm in the position that allows me to be able to put my phone away. So much of everything I do is internet focused. Like I work on the internet. I edit videos for a living. Like I can't not be touching the internet, which means in most situations I can't not touch my phone. And then there's the whole aspect of like there has to be a way to reach out to me. Like I have people who would genuinely freak out if I went MIA for 24 hours because they couldn't call me. Like I said, because I am a victim of it. Like it's just systems in place that just for some people like turning it off is not an option. But like at the bare minimum, there should be measures in place that you can put in to minimize the effects. You don't have to completely put your phone on the shelf, turn it off. Like that doesn't have to be that extreme for you. It could be as simple as limiting the amount of time you have on specific apps. Like for me, if I wanted to be extreme as possible without having to necessarily just put my phone on the shelf, I would give myself 30 minutes of screen time on any social media app that I have to use. 30 minutes of TikTok max, 30 minutes of Instagram max, 30 minutes of Facebook, 30 minutes of, well, not 30 minutes of YouTube because shit gotta upload. And then when it comes to stuff like YouTube where I had to edit videos, I would literally just open my computer, hit upload, and leave it there, put it to the side, never look at it again. There are ways you can go around it. I understand this guy's sentiment. I also understand the people who would say, oh man, I cannot put my phone away for that long. This guy's crazy. There is a middle ground for everything. It doesn't have to be an all or nothing thing for everything. There are things you can do to help mend your mind in a way that doesn't involve from going to the extremes. So anybody who's watching this, don't think just because you can't put the phone down completely doesn't mean you can't put the phone down at all. That's all I'm saying on that.
I was like, you made a lot of good points right there, but I say like one of the ways, like family bonding, one of the best things you can do. Everybody gets to the dinner table, phones off. Can't really remember the last time you came to a dinner table, all your cousins and everybody there without everybody looking at their phone. Like nobody's telling stories, or we're not talking about that memory we had back in the day. There's none of that. Everybody's distracted. They're not locked in on each other. And you can even go as far as like even kids going outside. Like they don't be outside for that long. They don't want to be outside because they want their attention somewhere else. They want to get back inside on their tablet. They want to get back inside and watch YouTube. Get back inside and play Fortnite. So I think like at the end of the day, it's just like it feels like we're moving backwards almost.
Next, you want to start consuming media that actually demands that you pay attention. This could even be movies. It doesn't always have to be books. But if you're going to watch movies, they can't be those new Netflix movies, because those movies are actually being written and produced with the intention that you will watch them while you're also scrolling on your phone. Like they're made for people who are distracted. It's already changing the way that we make art. So watch actual good movies. Go to a movie theater that will kick you out if you turn your phone on. And the third way is probably the most important. Get used to not being digitally stimulated all the time. Go on morning walks and don't take your phone at all. Just go and be there with your thoughts. Maybe even see how long you can go on that walk while you sustain a thought in your head. You know, thinking through an idea, debating with yourself. Just try it out. It can be more fun than it sounds. The point is to just get used to not needing to be stimulated by a phone or by a screen all the time. And by doing that, we are going to be training our brains to actually rewire themselves. We're actually then encouraging our minds to get used to focusing again. And maybe we can make a little bit of progress and we'll actually be able to focus on things that we care about.
That was a good video. I'm not gonna lie. That was a great video.
That's far.
I don't know. What do you think are like the main takeaways from this video? Because I ain't gonna lie. There was a couple of them for me anyway.
I think the main things I took away specifically is like attempting to move my attention span to broaden it, like attempt to read a book, attempt to allow your mind to focus on something that's not 30 seconds or a minute long. Like try to invest my mind into something.
I think my biggest takeaway is just like that mindset, that lack of an attention span can really leak out into other avenues of your life. Like when he was talking about focus, I feel like there's a lot of things that we could be doing, like me and you could be doing as a channel, what I could be doing as like a brother, I could be doing as like an editor. Like there's things I could be doing if my attention wasn't just so being spread out and being competed for.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main reason why I'm probably going to take another step after watching this video into trying to get away from the phone just a little bit more than I usually do. Take my own advice, limit some screen time, like only go on there to post, only go on there to do some research, just stuff like that. But what do you guys think? Do y'all think that the world's attention span has been getting smaller and smaller in recent years? I'd love to hear what y'all have to say in the comments below. And while you're in the comments, tell us the last book you read, because I ain't gonna lie, I genuinely want to know. If you are new to this channel and you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We have a new feature on Phones Style called Hype, so you can hype the video. That'd be much appreciated. With that being said, this has been me and J-Dub, and we have been the Afterthought Duo, and we will see you in the next video.